Hallo, ich bin's, Robin, Deutschlehrer mit Core Languages, and today I'm back at Hampton Park in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, if you've not watched any of our videos, you might not know that I'm in South Carolina. And if you Google Charleston, you will find that there are 22 other Charlestons in the United States. And if you don't know that I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, you might ask, well, which Charleston? Because you're asking about a selection of Charlestons. But if you know that I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, and you want to know something about Charleston, South Carolina, you might say, what kind of city or what kind of place is Charleston? Notice that we use different question words for different questions. Which and what kind of. It is very similar in German. We have welch and was für ein. In today's video, I will show you how to use welch and was für ein so that you can incorporate them correctly into your German questions. I would say los geht's und viel Spaß beim Deutsch lernen. The question words was für or was für ein and welch. In English and in German, question words or interrogatory pronouns are often used at the start of a question. Two of which are was für or was für ein and welch, but they are used in very specific ways and they're not interchangeable. Was für or was für ein is used to ask what or which kind of person, place, or thing, etc. something is. This is used for a general question. For example, was für ein Zug ist das? What kind of a train is that? Welch is used to refer to a specific pool or selection of things to choose from. For example, welcher Zug ist das? Which train of the ones that just arrived or of the ones that we just talked about is that? Here are some examples of questions with was für ein and welch. Welches Auto ist dein Auto? Which car is your car? And in this example, which of the ones that we're looking at is your car? Was für ein Vogel ist das? What kind of a bird is that? Welchen Mann kennst du? Which man do you know out of the selection that we're looking at? Welcher Person schreiben Sie? Which person are you writing to? Was für ein Mensch ist er? What kind of human being is he? Was für Tee habt ihr? What kind of tea do you have? Was für ein is not used when referring to a plural noun in the indefinite. In those cases, welche must be used instead of ein. For example, beim Bioladen gibt es viele Lebensmittel. Und was für welche? At the organic food shop or the health food store, there are many kinds of food, and oh boy, what foods they have. This is an exclamatory use of was für. We can refer to plural nouns with was für, but then we do not use the indefinite article. Depending on the case and the gender of the noun, we need to add different endings to welch. For the nominative case, we need to add er for masculine nouns, e for feminine nouns, es for neutral nouns, and e for plural nouns. For the accusative case, we need to add en, es, and e. For the dative case, we need to add em, and en. And for the genitive case, we need to add en, and er. For example, welches Buch ist interessant? Buch is a neutral noun, and in this example, it is in the nominative case, so we need to add es. Which book is interesting of the selection of books that we are looking at? Welchen Wein trinkst du? In this example, Wein is a masculine noun and it is in the accusative case. Which wine are you drinking of the two that we just discussed? Depending on the gender and the case of the noun, we also need to add different endings to was für ein. In the nominative case, we do not have an ending for masculine or neutral nouns, and we do not use ein for the plural. Feminine nouns, we add e. In the accusative, we add en and e, but no ending to neutral and no ein for plural nouns. For the dative case, we add em, er, and em, and no ein for plural nouns. For the genitive case, we add es, er, and es, and no ein for plural nouns. For example, was für ein Buch liest du? In this example, we are referring to a neutral noun in the accusative case. So we have no ending. Was für ein Buch liest du? What kind of book are you reading? Was für einen Wein trinkst du? In this example, we have a masculine noun in the accusative, so we need to add en. What kind of wine are you drinking? Was für Bücher liest du gerne? What kind of books do you like to read? In this example, we have a plural noun in the accusative, so we do not use ein. The word order for was für or was für ein varies on the usage. In informal German, you may see or hear this phrase broken up, or it might have to stay together. For example, was für Musik hörst du gerne? What kind of music do you like to listen to? In this example, we have was für as the question word at the beginning of the sentence, then the verb, the subject, and then the predicate or the rest of the sentence. Because we're referring to music as a whole, we do not need to use the indefinite article. Was möchtest du für einen Wein? Here we have broken up was für. We start with the question word, then the verb, and then the subject after the verb. Bei was für einer Firma arbeitest du? At what kind of a company do you work? In this example, we're using a preposition, then the question word, and then the verb, and then the subject. Ich habe ein Fahrrad gekauft. Toll! Was für eins? I have bought a bicycle. Cool or great. What kind? In this example, we have the question word and then simply the subject. Note that the third example includes a preposition, bei, which requires that was and für stay together. By contrast, the second example splits the phrase up, which is becoming more common in spoken German. The last example shows was für, and it can be used in the indefinite sense by the second speaker in this case. Here are some Beispiele of different sentences or constructions using was für or was für ein and welch. Welcher meiner Gitarren findest du großartig? Which of my guitars do you think are great? In this example, we're referring to meiner Gitarren, which is a genitive case plural noun. So we need to use Welcher because we're referring to a specific selection of guitars. Vor was für Tieren habt ihr Angst? What kind of animals are you afraid of? In this example, we're using a preposition, so was für stays together, and we are referring to animals, which is a plural noun, so we do not use ein. Was für schönes Wetter. What beautiful weather, which is an exclamation. We do not use ein, and we're referring to schönes Wetter, which is in the nominative case. When using welch or was für ein, we need to pay attention to the word order because the noun that we're asking about slips before the verb and the subject in inverted word order. For example, welche Spezialitäten gibt es heute? Which specialties are there today? Es is the subject of the sentence, which is behind the verb gibt in the inverted word order. Was für Wein möchten Sie? What kind of wine would you like? Welche Soße können Sie mir empfehlen? Which sauce can you recommend to me? Was für Soße essen Sie gern? What kind of sauce do you like to eat? Let's practice. Üben wir. Look at the following questions and see if you can identify the sentence with the correct word order. Was für Schuhe trägst du gern? Or, was für eine Schuhe trägst du gern? The correct sentence is, was für Schuhe trägst du gern? Schuhe is a plural noun, and when we use was für, we don't use the indefinite article. What kind of shoes do you like to wear? Was habt ihr für Bier vom Fass? Was für Bier ihr habt vom Fass? Look at the second question. The second question does not have inverted word order. It says ihr habt instead of habt ihr. So we can already identify that this question is incorrect. The correct question is, was habt ihr für Bier vom Fass? What kind of beer do you have on tap? And how about this example? Which question word is correct? Was für Kleider magst du? Or welches Kleider magst du? Without context and without ending, we could use both was für or was für ein or welch. What kind of or which do you like? But in this example, we're referring to plural nouns, dresses. Welches is not the plural noun ending, so the correct sentence is, was für Kleider magst du? If I wanted to use welch, I would have to say, welche Kleider magst du? What kind of dresses do you like versus which dresses do you like? How about this example? Welchen Tee ist das? Or was für ein Tee ist das? In this example too, without context, both question words could be used, but the correct ending is was für ein, because Tee in this example is a nominative noun. Welchen is the accusative ending and doesn't work here. What kind of tea is this? And how about this example? In den Alpen gibt es viele Berge. Und was für eine? Or, und was für welche? In this example, we're referring to Berge, which is a plural noun, so we wouldn't use eine. The correct sentence is, in den Alpen gibt es viele Berge. Und was für welche? In the Alps, there are many mountains. And boy, what mountains they are. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to use welch and was für ein in German. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our German courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. Das war's, vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal.